Hello everybody and welcome. Today we're going to talk about Steam Deck finally coming to my region, coming to Australia, coming to Down Under. So good day everybody, and I wanted to talk about specifically here the Steam Deck and some of the things that, because it feels like kind of a celebration for me, for us to be able to have officially Steam Deck here. I'm not gonna lie, I have been afraid if something happens to my Steam Deck that I bought from a third-party seller. I was not sure about the RMA process, what will be happening there. And with this now, finally, that we have an official thing, I'm not afraid anymore. There will be specific channels that we will be able to do our stuff in, and there won't be any problems. So that is good. And outside of that, the good thing is that when you launch to a region a little bit later, even though it's not as fun, it definitely, at least you have hammered down most of the issues that your product may have from production. And in Australia, there are quite strict laws about returning and refunding stuff, so probably that was maybe a concern still for someone that makes hardware very early on, right? Because this is one of the first things that they did as custom thing on their own to ship it everywhere as Valve the company. So with that being said, I wanted to kind of have a perspective of what it's like to have the Steam Deck for 8 months. Now I have it for 8 months. I have it since March that I went to the big trip. A lot of issues happened with me with the Steam Deck on that trip, but I have to say after that trip, normal use was not really a problem. And I have been having a lot of fun playing so many games on the Steam Deck. And now that I saw as well, you can see here on the second picture below, the Steam Deck comes to Australia, it is something that I'm starting to experience now for myself. Getting outside and being able to use the Steam Deck OLED. And there is a big difference to what experience I had last year compared to the LCD. Because I had an LCD Steam Deck as well, and I upgraded, I sold it, and I upgraded to the OLED when I could. So now the thing here is that we have the situation that before, for me, in Australia, specifically Melbourne, the weather is kind of weird, it's very cold. Usually you don't really go too much outside unless there is good weather. And people are going outside, it's a thing here that people are going outside and they're doing picnics and stuff. And I'm going with my wife as well. And we went last time and we had a lot of fun. And I also got my Steam Deck just to see if it will be able to play outside, right? I know that it had big brightness, but I never really used it outside, even as a test. So I went with my Steam Deck there, we were chilling, she had her Switch as well, she was playing Pokemon. We were chilling there after lunch, under the shade, and it looked amazing. And I was like, whoa, I can see this even with my sunglasses on, that is crazy. And then I went even a step farther below, as you see on the second picture below, I went to direct sunlight. And I was like, there is no way I'm gonna be able to see this. And I was. You can definitely play even on the direct sunlight. That was crazy to me. But the way that I was able to do that, there is no sponsor or anything, I had the JSOX anti-glare protector on my Steam Deck OLED. That thing would help you to not see the reflection from yourself back to your screen. And if you buy the 1TB version of the Steam Deck OLED, it has that built in. But I didn't wanna commit to or pay more, so I wanted to get just the protector. I put it on perfectly, no bubbles or anything at all. It was really, really good. And I have no problems whatsoever. Like, I go outside, there is no glare, not even minimal glare. No glare at all. It's crazy. And it feels fantastic. Like, going outside, looking at the sun, like getting the device up, looking at the sun and no reflection at all. It's just like the dream, right? You're going outside and you want to have this experience like you are in your room. And it's just fantastic. I was able to see it and even play a little bit even when I was in direct sunlight, and that is fantastic. Like, I have to say, I wouldn't expect it. Now, of course, it is being advised that you shouldn't really do this for a prolonged amount of time, because it's going to get the ambient temperature and the sunlight going to get to the device, and it's better to do it under a shade, of course. Now, let's talk a little bit about the Steam Deck while I'm showing you some gameplay. The Steam Deck overall, how it is with 8 months after, what I have been feeling that is different from the LCD that I had, and was it really worth to upgrade from, like, because it's a lot of money, right? Unless you sell it, it's not easy to just get another thing as expensive as this. And when I got it, I still had my doubts that, like, is it really going to be anything different than the battery? But believe me, I think I said it as well back then. If you are a power user, definitely you are going to feel that this is something that you want to have. Because when you are a power user and you are trying to play games for more than an hour, and usually like the LCD battery was like 1.5 hours on bigger games, and you will also have this not screeching sound, but it's definitely at an audible decibel, the fan when it's working. It's working a lot of work to do for games that are struggling on the Steam Deck. On this thing, I almost never have heard the fan. Like, even when I'm playing something that is using the full power, it's very rare that I'm going to hear anything. And that is a good thing, because in this amount of power, I could think that the Switch 2 is also going to be kind of like that. We won't really be hearing any fans. So, outside of all of this stuff, I have been collecting my thoughts and all of that, and how I have been using my Steam Deck. Mostly, I have been using it in two ways. Around the house, and it kind of has, as I said in my previous video, replaced my whole PC gaming setup, because the game that I play, they are not mouse and keyboard games, first of all. So if you're playing mouse and keyboard games, you have the disadvantage from the start, like that you can't really rely to play on that. But for me, because I started playing a lot of single player games and a lot of fighting games that are mostly on controllers and JRPGs, I don't have any issue whatsoever. Like, I love playing on this thing. All the games that I'm playing are playing there. Emulation, everything that you want to think about, it's definitely working here, and the battery life is satisfactory. So for me, this is the ideal device. This is the device that you will be thinking back in the day if you had the PSP and you were like, whoa, imagine if I could play PlayStation 2 games on this thing, like on a portable. And at this point, yes, we are able to do this. Switch was the first step, but this is like PS4 quality games being able to be played handheld. And the ROG Ally pushes it even further, to be honest, but I'm fine with the Steam Deck. Like, I have my ROG Ally, I use it only as a desktop situation. I have put the Buzzite on it, and I just use it like a Linux. I use it like I would use the Steam Deck, but it's permanently docked. So I can play even Metaphor Fantasio if I want, and I just play it docked there. It's not really a big deal. For me, I really enjoy playing games on the Steam Deck, and sometimes that I will have an issue on a bigger screen if there was a little bit stuttering and lower frame rate. I wouldn't really feel it on the Steam Deck. There is definitely games that you will feel it, but the games that I played didn't really feel it. So for me, very enjoyable experience so far, and I'm happy to say that I have made a little bit of the setup also for recording. I will definitely do more top-down recordings like this, because I feel like it's important for people to know how it looks when you're playing on the device. And the previous cam holder that I had was really bad, but this one is quite good. I really changed my whole setup with Amazon Prime. So outside of that, you also have the option for kind of for longevity. This is something that we don't really talk too much about, but it has to be said. Eventually, the hardware will start getting older, but I don't think we should be afraid because we have good things that we can do to fix that. Something, for example, like Chiaki for Deck, and this is again doing it with the PS5, trying to capture it while I'm playing. And I was playing here Sparking Zero online, streaming it with Chiaki for Deck from my PS5. And this is kind of the future, I guess you would say, for devices like this. That is the reason I think that we shouldn't really rush for Steam Deck 2. I know a lot of people that are like technology enthusiasts always want a new thing, always want a more powerful thing. And with the ROG Ally and with the Steam OS now will become like available for other devices as well officially. I think that is really, really important. Not for the reasons that you probably think, but mostly that Valve will have to make a device when they feel it's appropriate and not the people started like demanding more powerful hardware. I don't think that's healthy, and I think that the situation with the Switch is what it should be. They should determine on their own when they actually care to make new hardware, when there is something more innovative to show. And that is really what I hope continues to happen in the future for Valve as well. Because I don't think it's healthy at all to go on and start trying to make it be like, oh, you know, we have to do this right now. We have to make more powerful hardware immediately because people demand it. And yeah, I think with the streaming services, we have GeForce now. You will be able to stream. Hopefully, they will kind of make it a little bit better to be able to stream from your desktop, because the Steam's built-in thing is not the best. Definitely, it's not the best. So that is the reason that I'm hoping that we will be able to get it a little bit better later on. Like down the line, they will be able to make it a little bit better with the way that it streams. But even using very good streaming apps like Chiaki for Deck and Nvidia, GeForce Now, and other apps like specifically, I think it's called Moonlight and Sunlight. I have shown it before that you can stream your Game Pass games from your PC. And all of those things are good options, and they will definitely give longevity to the device, which I think is mostly important. I don't really think that people will notice too much difference on streaming games from their Steam Deck. And I think that's one of the reasons that we don't really have to, again, force it to be like, oh, you have to upgrade this because the games are not playing anymore. And there are so many games on Steam, especially indie games, and I'm mostly playing these kind of games. I'm not trying to always play AAA games. There are a lot of people that do, but I don't think we should care about that, because especially when you can stream them, it feels like definitely fine. Especially when you compare something like this, like when you're playing like Sparking Zero and then you go and try to play it natively. If it doesn't play natively, why are you trying to force your way in order to make it kind of work when it doesn't really work? I think sometimes we're trying to be too ambitious with what we can do, and it doesn't always really work out the way we want it. So definitely that is something that people will kind of have to work out themselves with the expectations about what we will have to do, right? Because the Streaming, I think it's important to be said that kind of will help these devices, especially if you can stream it from your own setup, that you will be able to play the games with minimum latency. And I already do that for quite a lot of games, and I always never have an issue unless I'm trying to do something like Tekken or something. Then, yes, when you're trying to do the smallest amount of any input delay, you are going to have issues, or like you're going to play on a disadvantage if you're trying to stream an FPS game. But outside of that, it's not really a problem. Like there are specific genres that are really hard to nail down with streaming, but anything else, completely playable. And most of the people don't play those genres that are completely unplayable. Me playing Baldur's Gate 3, I think Baldur's Gate 3 is the biggest thing. I have completely gave up trying to run it on the Steam Deck. It takes a lot of space. On the Act 3, it's completely sad and the machine gets loud. And I'm like, look, I can just stream it from the PS5. It has completely good thing that you can save up your saves and everything, and you can get it to other devices as well. So as long as you have it linked up, you can stream your PS5. That's how I finished Baldur's Gate 3, because I was able to finally be able to see it play well, look great on the small screen and on the PlayStation Portal, and not have any issues whatsoever. Because yes, sure, you can make some things work on the Steam Deck, you can try to force it, but sometimes when it's not enough, you really feel it. And I don't want to play 10 FPS and the fun to keep screaming at me. I want to just chill down and enjoy the game. And that's why I think these services like GeForce Now and PlayStation 5 Remote Play and other things from the Game Pass, hopefully it will get native on the Game Pass, because you can stream the Game Pass Ultimate stuff, but you cannot really do anything else. So for that, like you cannot have them native on the device. So for that, I would say that I really love the Steam Deck, and I hope more people now in Australia will be able to give it a go and enjoy what you can do with this device. If you have any questions about why you should get an OLED versus the LCD, or any kind of questions about the Steam Deck at all, you can leave them down below in the comments. I read all the comments and I always respond unless it's something about piracy or disrespectful. I will always respond. So, yep. If you like what I'm doing, like this video, and if you love it, subscribe. See you next time.